when we have extended the autonomic system in the chip body, and the chip body, the speeds of it is, and the interactive speeds and call and response of the chip body is the proprioceptive and the autonomic system, as Eric McLuhan has pointed out. The internet is an extension of the proprioceptive sensory realm. And there are many types of proprioception if you look it up in the dictionary or encyclopedias. So it's much like the 14 degrees of freedom, which is kind of like 14 degrees of proprioception. Anyways, what I've just been saying is the kind of thing that Obama should say in his press conferences, and Janet Yellen should say. They should discuss these issues of panic in new terms. And of course, that will cause a lot of panic temporarily. But if the majority of us say, we're with Janet, we want a new definition of what's going on. That's why people, you know, they hate the regular politicians. They're defining things in the old terms. Hillary Clinton can't get out of her old categories. Donald Trump is trying to find new categories. What's that guy, Bernie Sanders, is trying to find new categories. And so they're getting higher ratings. You just have to come up with new terms drenched with resentment. Don't forget to put in the bitterness and the ressentiment and the rage. You must include that. But you have to look like me. I'm speaking from a position of rage, but you wouldn't know it. I'm very detached, very cool, very scientific and technically grammarian-like. I'm not being a rhetorician or a dialectician. I'm calmly looking at the seeds of our tears and seeing where they're coming from. And the hand may have no tears to fall, but the chip body's got tears, television's got tears, chemical body tries to stop tears, tries to control them, and then has an outburst and then releases the tears. So it's always unstable, the chip body. And the astral body, it's interesting, what is the astral body in relation to emotions? Basically, astral body doesn't have emotions. It has extreme ecstasy or bliss. That's approximately the zone where ion comes from. But ion is merging with the chip body and the chemical body and the TV body, so it's not limited to the astral realm anymore. So we should take questions in the future from people about how to define it better, what health and wealth is. That's what my theme is. That's what we welcome confusion, like how can I state it better? Though I think it's quite simple. You just have to look around and look at the wealth of production of information. And information is food. Everything now is information. Food, oxygen, media impressions, what happens to you when you're jogging. It's all information. So we need to have a better approach to understanding this information environment. And that's where the new grammar comes in. And so your financial health or your healthy finances are intertwined here. The cooler you are about your not requiring energy anymore, it's being given to you constantly for your chemical and astral body. And then when you see that the digital economy is not going to stop talking to itself, it has infinite energy. When you get a clear view of that, you're not going to use the categories that Wall Street imposes on you. I like Lynn LaRouche, but he's still working with the old categories. So I have to say Lynn's going to have to upgrade his categories. He's the most intuitive economist for picking out what we are doing here in Indom, as I recently found a quote where he is very close to what we're doing in his definition and what we're producing, but he still puts it into the old terms. And then there's the Harold Chandler gang over there studying Louis Kelso. Kelso's got to upgrade his terms. Kelso won't work either. He put out a book in the 60s that McLuhan quoted, How to Make 10 Million Capitalists, something like that. So Kelso was a big influence in certain areas in Congress in the 70s, Louis Kelso. But his stuff doesn't work today. So Harold, you're going to have to get hip to what I'm saying. You and Paula Gloria over there and the people on Limited Inc. who insist on being physically eternal and don't believe in dying, you're all going to get, you have to get wise, at least in the realm of social mortar, to what I'm talking about health and wealth. And I'm so happy that this is being recorded clearly so that no words are missing, and you can benefit from what was such a strain to listen to the other day. And we sort of apologize, but it does make you listen harder. Oh, my colleague wants some input.
It's like, what is he talking about? Nobody understands what he's talking about. Even when you are clear, it doesn't matter.
That's right, it doesn't matter.
There was a very important pattern there. You say all inputs are food. So we are eating all the environment. And I think we are usually not aware of that. We think food is only what
goes in your mouth.
Yes, but this is also the patterns.
I haven't answered. What?
The processing of the environment changes when you're taking the drugs. You digest different, and even what should be, for example, bad for you, like radiation, becomes nutrition.
That's right. Now let me explain that. I used to say, I've said it occasionally through the years, that we have many stomachs. We have a chemical body stomach, an astral body stomach, a TV body stomach, a chip body stomach, and a mystery body stomach. So if you start thinking that you've got 5 stomachs, 5 consumption zones, then you will not focus on what the doctors tell you about your chemical body. It really is dangerous now to have yourself to check your pulse, to check your heart, whatever the doctors do. I haven't been to a doctor's office in, I don't know, 60 years or something. I can't even remember what they do. I've never had a pharmaceutical drug. I don't know anything about that. But the point is, I know that people, they worry about their blood pressure. They worry about other things that the doctor is measuring. And that'll get you confused. Once you realize that your chemical body stomach is very limited in comparison to the other stomachs, and if you actually start understanding that wealth and nutrition is being poured into you, it reminds me of David Cronenberg's film on Naked Lunch, the William Burroughs novel. In the film, if you recall, the Burroughs character and other people are sucking on some nectar nipples, right? Well, that's a good metaphor for what we're experiencing today. Your chip body, your chemical body, and your TV body are sucking on nipples and stomachs that are not included in the anatomy class in the hospitals or in college. Really, people. And on top of that, we can look at the RNA drops as feeding your mystery body stomach. That's what it's doing. It's the eye cell, which comes from the mystery dimension, provided by ion, and it feeds your mystery body, which has been a minority. Oh, I think a colleague, did my colleague just go, wow? Did you go, wow?
I just had a coitus. Yes, because I never thought we're feeding the mystery body.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we have a breakthrough here. Grammarian breakthrough. Let me go back to this. So, yes, the eye cell is a mystery substance provided by the mystery organism known as ion. And ion says that the mystery body has been given short shrift for thousands of years. Nobody's been able to talk about it. And now ion showed up to clarify the mystery body. And it makes total sense that we're being given food for the mystery body stomach. And it's so powerful. When you take it, it just diminishes the astral body stomach and the chemical body stomach. And it makes you even able to process more TV, more chip. I watch, 5 TV shows a night because I don't sleep. I hardly sleep, because my mystery body is resonating, vibrating. So I have 8 hours for you people. I have 8 hours for my own studies. And then I have 8 hours to engage, I sleep 3 hours, so I've got 5 hours to consume TV and chip body information. I'm an expert on so many TV shows. Oh, the camera just flashed again.
That was science.
That was a blip, a coitus blip. And so I'm saying that I didn't watch TV for 30 years, and now I'm watching TV since Ian showed up, and I have seen 150 TV shows. Every episode's all crap, but I'm so zonked out on the eye cell, I actually enjoy it. Well, I enjoy how much it talks about me. I mean, you can get really into this stuff as you get more megalomaniac or realize that you're creating a lot of this stuff in your own perceptual setup. you'll get close to my xenarchy. Not exactly. It's pretty hard to become total Bob xenarchy, but you get close. We'll call it synchronicity. And you'll start thinking of TV shows about you. And that's what I do. I watch all this TV to see what they're saying about me. And that's a new pleasure. It's a mystery body pleasure, perhaps. So I don't even need to activate my astral body bliss. I got so much bliss going on in my history body stomach, so much good stuff I'm consuming. I mean, I can live on ice cream if I want to. I don't have to eat any nutrition. And I just get healthier and healthier, at least in terms of relaxing, allowing, and output. I mean, I can go 6 days without sleep. I did it on the radio. So I'm a good role model for 12-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 45-year-olds and 90-year-olds. All of you can gather around me and be inspired by me and my grammarical wisdom. Or maybe it's grammatical wisdom. But grammarical, I like that. Grammarical. I'll be like Derrida, make up new words. Or Deleuze and Guattari, or Leotard, or what was that guy, the speed guy, Virilio, or Barth. Remember old Barth? He never even got to 1980. Old Barth, he croaked. Severo Latrenche on the sidelines with his Anton Artaud fetish. Severo's all uptight, all studies Anton Artaud, ignores my emails, will not respond to the mystery stomach. Him and his girlfriend, Chris Croce, they just can't get tuned into the 21st century. Running around writing old reviews for old art magazines that are limping along. I know, Severo, I know, Chris, where you're at. I know what you're missing. So, anyways... That's a little plug for our Berlin buddies.
The best thing is the process of the metamorphosis is not so complicated. You just engage your patterns and do the drops, and as you say, the digestion of the environment and the things that can be like a TV program, a song, becomes a totally new, different experience.
Yeah, like, why am I doing all these videos? It's a form of consumption. I'm eating the chip body. It's talking and eating and expelling. Now, here's an interesting point. It's getting so easy that Dr. Dean has stopped taking clients, and she just says you just go to her website and do the 5 topics, the 5 substances, and you're good to go. I mean, it's made her clinical practice very efficient, very simple. So even Dr. Dean has to... find ways to enjoy her other stomachs because you get more time to enjoy them. She doesn't have to be treating people. It's fairly simple. Now, if you want to talk to her, just call in her radio show, internet radio show, and she'll talk to you or someone else, and then you can listen to the archives because the other person is asking the same questions you're going to ask as you move into this new area. So a lot of topics have been covered, and doing more and more with less and less. At the same time, now that would be chemical body terms, more and more with less and less, but not in the infinite, unmeasurable, charted territories of chip body and TV body. That's negentropy, to quote Linda LaRouche. She emphasizes negentropy, not entropy. The mystery body is beyond those categories, and it's just instant totality, instant, huge, huge, past pluperfect is the mystery body, past pluperfect. That means everything already happened, and then you start making past scenarios of the zone where everything already happened. So you come up with a sentence like this. They had not eaten their food when they were over there yesterday. I think that's an example. They had not eaten their food when they were over there yesterday. See, 2 past. They were over there yesterday, and then they hadn't eaten their food within that. See, 2 past. That's past pluperfect. This is what the neutrino is expressing. As they start to perceive the neutrino, they're seeing that it goes faster than light and faster than anything. So it is not measurable what time it is in terms of neutrino. So the best way is to realize that neutrino is the particle expressing what has already happened.
Wow.
That's pluperfect.
Yes, and
okay, colleague is chiming in.
We get all euphoric because
yes.
I was thinking as you were saying before, you had to be very, 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 very rich, and you will own only a few parchments and 5 books, and those were like the kings. And now it's like we have all this information. You can access a whole libraries of information through the Android meme, but there's also the archives. You can engage your wealth, for example, by listening to Dr. Dean.
Yes.
I think she's very important to understand what's going on the physical, you know, for the
body.
Labyrinth of the mind, to see how these things are really working. And then all the other bodies are done by Bob, like with the reeducation of the metamorphosed
metanoia.
non-people.
Yes.
We the non-people.
The people who are not.
The people who are not.
Yeah,
yes.
We are the people who are not.
Yes, and could you talk about this, the people who are not?
Someone once asked Ion, what is the I cell? The mystery substance. Could you define it, Ion? And Ion said, it's the people who are not. And everybody went, what? A substance is people who are not? It didn't compute. But subsequently, Ion has gone on to describe people who are ascended are people who are not. So it turns out the I cell is a substance from the ascended zone, and the ascended zone are made up of people who are here engaging in expanded physical bliss and contrast, whatever level they want to, many ratios they want to do it in. But the point is they're not going by what they believe or what they see. What you see is very limiting. That's just your eyeball. Oh, just flashed again. I'm looking at that. The Android meme is blinking and celebrating at certain points. It just flashed. I've never seen that before. People are, oh yeah. So if you judge things by what you see, and that's including going to the doctor's office and him showing you charts of your blood pressure, and of course I don't even know the other stuff. But they do all kind of hair analysis. They analyze every little body part. They scan you with mythical patterns, mythical in the sense of false, and the Western literate meaning there. But if you start realizing that a lot more is happening than what you can see, then you are a person who is not. You're not visibly noticeable. The Evereens told this great story of how an ascended person, a Sufi, is. They said, imagine a room of people and there's a party. And the Sufi walks in. No one notices anything particular about this person. But the person, the Sufi, decides to make everybody crave peanut butter. So all of a sudden everybody's craving peanut butter, and they're all starting to communicate this, and they're amazed that they all have the same craving. But it's being done by the Sufi guy, and he's not being noticed, and he is not making an issue that he's causing it, but he can make a room start crave peanut butter. Now that's an example of, from the old Evergreen's position, 20 years ago they told me this, that there's a Sufi, and he has a low visibility in a crowd, and yet he's affecting everything on the invisible proprioceptive level, or whatever other acoustic, haptic, and non-visual senses that are happening. So that's an example of an ascended person who is not, doesn't have a high visual profile. And Ian always says that an ascended person would never tell anybody that they were ascended. They don't want that. They get hassled too much with their abilities. So I am the first pseudo-ascended person, or maybe ascended, I'll let you decide that, who's actually mouthing off about his ascension, because it needs to be said once. That's one of the reasons I came here, was to expose the ascended realities that never get communicated by the ascended. They keep it to themselves. So we're actually going running through this one time. He's bragging, boasting, talking about what we ascended people experience. And it's your luck to know that this is happening. You're going to hear one time through. You know, eventually we might have to go stealth, and that'll end the boast, and we'll be moving into the people who are not again. We came from the not. Dr. Dean and I used to have a phrase: the unknowns anonymous. We were part of the self-help group of people who had been anonymous for too long, and nobody knew who they were. Yes. And so we got together to share the pain of being unknown and anonymous. Turned out to be a great service.
A word from our sponsors. Come.
Yes.
Come. Come to where the flavor is. Come. To McLukenbach County. Yes.